Today, we're diving into Khushwant Singh's incredible novel, Train to Pakistan. It's a story that manages to take the massive, epic tragedy of a nation being torn in two and shrinks it down to the size of a single tiny village. It's a powerful reminder that history isn't just about dates and events. It's about the real people whose lives are changed forever. Okay, so to really get this, we have to start right where the book does, in a small, fictional border village called Mano Majra. Now, before everything went wrong, life here had this simple, predictable rhythm, and that rhythm was set by the trains. They were so reliable, so comforting, that the last goods train of the evening was like the whole village being tucked into bed. So in this first part, let's look at how this idyllic little spot, really a symbol of peace, was held together by that simple routine and a kind of trust that had been built up for generations. You see, in Mano Majra, Sikhs and Muslims, they weren't just neighbors. We're talking about family. Their lives were completely woven together. The mullah's call to prayer from the mosque was literally the signal for the Sikh priest to start his own morning prayers. Two different faiths, but one shared life. But, this quiet little world, it was right on the edge of a massive, violent storm. So let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture to really understand the historical tidal wave that was about to crash down on Mano Majra. And the author, Khushwant Singh, is a huge part of why this story feels so real. It's because it wasn't just something he imagined. He saw it. He was a lawyer and a journalist. Yeah, but most importantly, he was an eyewitness to the division of India in 1947. He pulled from his own painful memories to write this book. And this event, the partition, look, it wasn't just about politicians drawing new lines on a map. Think of it more like a brutal surgery on a living country, one that violently ripped apart communities that had lived side by side for centuries. Millions of people were forced from their homes, and just unbelievable violence broke out. Okay, so how does this huge political nightmare find its way to this tiny village? Well, with a terrible, terrible irony, it arrives on the very thing that used to bring them comfort, the railway tracks. Then one day, a train pulls into the station. But it's different. It's not on schedule. It doesn't blow its whistle. It's just silent. And that silence, it was the sound of their entire world about to break. This wasn't just a train. People started calling it the ghost train, and it was filled not with passengers or goods, but with the dead. The bodies of Sikhs who had been massacred on their journey from the newly created Pakistan. In one single horrific moment, the madness of the outside world didn't just knock on the door, it kicked it down, bringing fear and suspicion right into the heart of their community. So when your world completely falls apart, what do you do? Who do you become? That's the test the people of Mano Majra are about to face. A question of what it means to be human when everything is pushing you to be anything but. And we see this conflict play out through two really different guys. On one hand, you've got Iqbal. He's the thinker, right? The educated social worker who gets the politics of it all. But he's kind of paralyzed by his own theories and cynicism. And then you have Jagat Singh. He's the local tough guy, the badmash. He's not moved by big ideas or politics. He's moved by something much simpler, his love for a Muslim woman named Nooran. Okay, so things are at a boiling point. And just when you think it can't get any worse, a group of extremist militants rolls into town with a truly terrible plan. And what happens next? Well, it's one of the most powerful and heartbreaking climaxes you'll ever read. Their plan? It's as simple as it is horrifying. The train carrying all of their Muslim neighbors is about to leave for Pakistan. So they're going to stretch a thick steel rope across the bridge, right at a height that will kill anyone riding on the roof. At the same time, they'll just open fire on the rest of the train. The goal? Not a single person makes it out alive. So who steps up? Not the intellectual Iqbal. It's Jagat, the outcast. Because he knows Nooran, the woman he loves, is on that train. He climbs the bridge and starts hacking at that thick rope with just a small knife. He gets shot again and again, but he just keeps cutting until it snaps. The train goes over him, and it goes on to Pakistan. A single, final act of love in a sea of hate. So, why? Why are we still talking about this book today? After all this time, what makes this story about one small village so incredibly timeless? Well, it's because this is so much more than a history lesson. It forces us to see the human cost of big political decisions. It shows that blame is never simple. Both sides did horrific things. But most of all, it argues that even when everything feels hopeless, the moral choice of one person, it still matters. It can change everything. And I think that's the real genius of it. Khushwant Singh never lets us get lost in the abstract politics of it all. He keeps pulling us back to the people, their pain, their confusion, their courage. He shows us the human heart beating right at the center of the horror. And that leaves us with a question that honestly feels more relevant today than ever. When the world is shouting at you to hate, when fear is everywhere, what is our responsibility to the person standing right next to us?